Michael is still strong enough to be considered a tropical storm as it moves east. You'll hear from those who chose to ride out the storm in Florida's Panhandle today at noon.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for joining us. Early estimates put Hurricane Michael's damage at over $10 billion. The storm made landfall yesterday on the Florida Panhandle as one of the most powerful storms ever to make landfall in the United States. The storm surge reached 10 feet in some areas and winds topped out at 155 miles an hour, just shy of a Category 5 hurricane.
Indescribable. Hail. You look out the windows and you got pieces from people's houses flying by. You got trees flying by.
Michael weakened as it reached Georgia, but the storm is still expected to dump nearly a foot of rain on the already waterlogged Carolinas. At least 2 deaths so far have been blamed on the storm, but officials expect that number to increase. And 12 Wisconsin Army National Guard soldiers are helping with hurricane relief in Florida. They are headed down south soon. Governor Walker authorized Wisconsin's support after the state received a request from Florida. 2 med-evac helicopters with hoist capabilities are also being used. Let's head over to the Weather Center now. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look at our first alert forecast. The storm's still affecting people.
Oh, yeah, and now it's a little bit less strong in the wind department, but definitely not out of the woods are the Carolinas, which really don't need a drop more of rain. Unfortunately, that won't be the case over the next 24 hours. So Michael still has winds of 50 miles per hour. It is really moving quickly, though. So that's the good news. It's moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. So by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, I think it will be out to sea, but still could cause a lot of damage over the next 24 hours or so. For us across southern Wisconsin, we haven't really been dealing with anything quite like that. However, snow up to our north as a powerful low pressure system continues to move to the east, bringing us some very windy weather. Even got a report of a quick snow shower in Mount Horeb. Not sure if I necessarily buy that, but maybe that's because I just don't want to talk about snow right about now. Live look in Madison, we're seeing the sunshine once again on the WISC-TV Skycam. Still some clouds, though. Temperatures are in the upper 30s and low 40s. That is quite chilly, and with that wind screaming out of the north and west at about 15 to 25 miles per hour and gusting closer to 30 in some spots, it actually feels like we're in the 20s in Camp Douglas and Viroqua. Temperatures and winds over the next 12 hours, we will fall from the mid-40s, that's our high this afternoon, into the 30s by tonight. And we have to talk about possibly the first hard freeze of the season and the end of the growing season across southern Wisconsin. We'll explore that possibility. Talk about temperatures coming up for the weekend in your first alert forecast.
I'm getting 30-mile-an-hour winds. Think of 155-mile-an-hour winds.
I can't even fathom that.
I can't imagine it. Yeah. All right. Well, we said that storm's moving out and
yes,
the sunshine's moving in.
Yes.
All right. Things are looking up. Thank you, Dave. We'll check back in a few minutes. Suspended Badger football player Quintez Cephas pleaded not guilty today to 2 felony counts of sexual assault. Cephas was banned from playing football after 2 women came forward this year saying they were assaulted by Cephas last spring. National activists were at the Dane County Courthouse today in support of Cephas, claiming the university is preventing him from having a fair trial. Bishop Tavis Grant of the Antioch Network of Churches USA, along with other nationwide activists, clergymen, and lawyers representing Cephas, spoke after the hearing.
It is just gratuitous to have him exposed, the self-incriminating process. His Miranda's rights are not guarded. This is first and foremost. He wants to clear his name. He wants his day in court, and let this process do what it's meant to do.
His attorneys have filed a lawsuit against the university claiming the UW's investigation into sexual assault claims have violated Cephas's constitutional right to due process and his right to avoid self-incrimination. University officials said its process is consistent with what federal law requires the school to do. The University of Wisconsin-Madison Police Department is launching off-campus alerts and is expanding WISC alerts to parents. UWPD's off-campus alert program is supplementing WISC Call Alerts, which is an emergency notification system that provides information about dangerous incidents happening on the UW-Madison campus. Since the alerts will deal with incidents outside the jurisdiction of UWPD, the alerts will be activated when the department receives information from the City of Madison Police Department. Crashes are down along Highway 30 in Dane County thanks to increased enforcement. The sheriff's office said increased enforcement between January and June resulted in a 45% decrease in injuries along the area between East Washington and the interstate. During the period of enforcement, total crashes were reduced by 12%, injury crashes were down 34%, and there were 0 fatalities overall. Hundreds of poll workers shifts needs to be filled into the city of Madison. The positions are needed for the November elections. Poll workers are paid $13.01 an hour, with shifts available from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., 1 p.m. to around 9:30, or 6 a.m. to around 9:30 p.m. According to the release, poll workers will also be paid to attend 1 hour of training. And today is the start of the 4-day Wisconsin Science Festival. All across the state, there will be special exhibits, workshops, and seminars, including sessions on getting more women and minorities interested in STEM-related careers. You can find out more about the hundreds of events happening around Wisconsin at WISCIFest.org. That's WisconsinScienceFest.org. That's what this stands for. All right, there's more to come on News 3 at noon. We'll find out what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
A few basic ingredients and a single pot means a tasty dinner and easy cleanup. Doesn't get any better than that. You know, one-pot cooking is something that I've always been a big fan of. So when I came across this longtime favorite, I knew I had to share it with you. Not only is it made start to finish in a soup pot, but it's budget-friendly too, which is great right now since we're trying to set aside a few extra dollars for the holidays. We start by sauteing a good amount of ground beef in a pot until it's well browned. To that, we add some beef broth, a few cans of black-eyed peas, which are packed with protein and are really reasonable, a diced potato, some chopped celery, onions, and carrots, and a few off-the-shelf spices. After it comes to a boil, we'll lower the heat and let it simmer until our potatoes are tender. This is when all the flavors come together. When it's done, serve it up with some crusty bread and go to town. It's so simple, you'll probably want to add it to your weekly dinner routine. If you'd like the recipe for what we call our Hillbilly One Pot, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an all-in-one way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. Our Pet of the Week segment is coming up in just a few minutes. Plus, the sun is starting to shine again here in southern Wisconsin. Dave joins us with the first alert forecast after the break. Well, teens are already obsessed with Snapchat. Now the social media site is hoping to reel them in even more. Diane King Hall shares how in today's Money Watch report.
It's a tug of war between the bears and bulls after a sell-off which circled the globe overnight. Investors have been spooked by rising U.S. Treasury yields and worries of a worsening global trade battle. The cost of living in the U.S. edged slightly higher in September. According to the Labor Department, consumer prices inched up just 0.1%. Mild uptick in inflation came as energy prices fell. The former parent company of Newsweek has been indicted on fraud and money laundering charges. IBT Media is being accused of working with two companies, including Christian Media, an online publisher, in a complex fraud. The parties allegedly created phony financial statements and used them to secure millions of dollars in loans, supposedly to buy computer equipment, but then allegedly used the funds for other reasons. IBT Media denies the allegations. Snap is diving into original content in an attempt to keep up with growing competition from other social sites. Snapchat announced it will release 12 original video shows. They range from a supernatural soap opera to comedy and a docuseries. The company will partner with social media stars and producers of hit shows like Riverdale to appeal to new and current users. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
All right, Diane, thank you. The Dow Industrial is down 111 points at the noon hour. The NASDAQ is up 13. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee. Did you understand that Snapchat thing? We're all out here going, what's she talking about?
I know. I was thinking to myself, so basically people will only need their phone, period,
right,
if they keep this up. Yeah, I don't know about the video on Snapchat, and I barely Twitter. And that's saying a whole lot about me on a Thursday. But yeah, so today we're excited about the World Ag Supply Demand Report, Mark, that came out at about 11 a.m. Central Time today. Actually, it is a bit of a surprise. U.S. Department of Agriculture lowered their forecast on both U.S. corn and soybean production this year by about a bushel. That was not expected by the trade. We know that we've had weather-related issues here in Wisconsin. We're not alone, though. A lot of the upper Midwest, Nebraska right now, farmers are standing still because they've got nothing but standing water. So they believe that is going to impact the yield. Now, as far as the world supply situation is concerned, they increased their numbers on both corn and soybeans available around the world. Also, dairy is something that they bring out numbers. And I was just briefly going through some of the analytics, and what they're projecting is that milk production will continue to go up. I know dairy farmers are saying, you got to be kidding me. It is expected to go up because the per cow production is expected to go up. So into 2019, right now, you've got to get all the way out to May before you see milk in Chicago over $16 a hundredweight, primarily reacting to this idea of more milk out there. They are projecting that we'll see more demand worldwide for butter and for whey, as well as milk powder, but cheese demand is expected to go down. Now, listen, when it comes to Wisconsin cheese, we're kind of off on our own because so much of our cheese is specialty cheese. But for those commodity producers of cheese, like in California and other regions, they may be looking at a real rough go for 2019. Speaking of dairy, today, barrel cheese gained a half a cent to $1.37. 40-pound block cheese down a penny at $1.65. AA butter rallied today, up 4 cents to $2.26 3/4. So I think a lot of our Wisconsin farmers just happy to see a little bit of sunshine and dry. It's just nice to have dry out there. Yeah, the temperatures were a little bit of a shock when I came in this morning, but I can get used to that. Sunshine felt really good on the windshield today.
It looks like the growing season may be coming to an end tonight.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Our corn and soybeans have been done for a while, so it's just the posies we got to protect now.
Bring in the petunias.
Yep.
All right, Pam, thank you. And Dave is here now with a look at our first alert forecast, and we have an alert night.
Yes, an alert day and night. It's a little bit tough when we have to kind of differentiate between times there, but yeah, the threat of a hard freeze is definitely a real threat as we head into tonight, with temperatures dipping closer to 30. And this morning, those temperatures actually dipped into the upper 30s, even with all these clouds still around. But we are seeing the breaks in the clouds, which has really been the difference, especially compared to the last 5 days or so. As I mentioned, we started off at the upper 30s in Madison and in the Dells, into the mid-30s in Viroqua. Live look in Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam, showing those breaks in the clouds. And by the time we get into later this afternoon, I think we'll see even more blue sky. So breaks really in these clouds have been tough to come by over the past 3 or 4 days, but I do see a few in downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. But with these really, really gusty winds out of the north and west, temperatures really aren't responding. So we were about 15 degrees above normal a couple days ago. Now we're 15 degrees below normal. 46 the forecast high for today. In the low 40s right now at the noon hour in Madison, 42 in Watertown, 45, one of the warmer spots in Janesville. Look at these temperature differences. I mean, it's just crazy what that cold front can do. A cold front can really bring in temperatures about 30 degrees cooler compared to this time yesterday, and the wind's not really helping out the feel outside out of the north and west at about 15 to 25 miles per hour. So I had to dust off this map. Yeah, remember that? Wind chills. We are talking about it feeling like the mid-30s outside across southern Wisconsin. Look at this high temperature trend. It's not even close to normal, with normal being the low 60s, and we have temperatures in the 40s and 50s at best, and that's during the daytime. At night, we need to start talking about widespread 30-degree temperatures sticking around, and so we do have that alert day in the forecast for early tomorrow morning. A freeze warning in effect for much of southern Wisconsin, and a hard freeze is possible tonight. But look at this. The average first frost or freeze is actually October 11th. And in a year that has been anything but average, that's a little too on the nose for my taste, Mother Nature. So we do have those temperatures in the low 30s and even into the upper 20s for Saturday morning. The warm night will be Sunday, when we get all the way into the upper 30s. For me, I feel like a Tahitian prince here. Now, our future track temperatures are only getting into the mid 40s for this afternoon, dropping into the low 30s for tonight. So bring those pets and plants inside. Then tomorrow, even cooler, with highs in the low to mid 40s, and some of us could be dipping into the upper 20s by the time we get to Saturday morning. So, whew, yeah, that's a big change outside, and we're going to feel it over the next 5 days or so, with highs really at best in the low 50s by the time we get to Saturday afternoon. A couple of light chances for rain, really nothing to worry about too much. Then those temperatures, as we head into the start of next weekend, a little bit closer to 60 degrees. So I wouldn't say that this is going to be the norm for the next 2 or 3 months, but definitely over the next week, we'll have to have some outerwear on basically at all times. It's a bit of a chilly forecast, to say the least.
Yeah, all right. At least it's dry.
Yes.
All right. Our pet of the week is coming up right after this. Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our Pet of the Week. Hi, Marissa.
Hi.
Who's this little girl here?
We have Opal here, and she has turned around because I have her attention very much so with some treats. But Opal is an adult, probably terrier, chihuahua, maybe a little min pin in there.
Let's turn you around here,
so you can
little
see
lady.
her beautiful face. Come here, sweet pea. There we
So
go.
she was found stray.
Yep, so Opal was actually found stray in Cottage Grove.
You got some
and
rug in her mouth here. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And you may not see her when you actually go to the shelter because she's actually hanging out in my office with me. That means I've gotten to know her personality quite a bit. And she can be snuggly, but she is kind of a high energy girl.
Really? You can't tell it by this.
Yep, she kind of, you know, she'll play hard and then she will nap hard, and she's kind of in a nap mode now, but she loves toys, loves nice long walks. So even though they're a small pup, they have a lot of energy still.
But not other dogs.
Yep, so we're looking for a home where Opal can kind of be the queen of the castle. She's a little rude when she meets new dogs.
Oh, look at that face. How can you say that?
Well, she's a lady with a big personality. Yeah. So she's looking to be kind of your one and only in the house.
And she's full grown.
Yep, this is full grown for her. We think, because she's stray, we don't have an exact age, but we think she's probably somewhere between maybe 4 to 6 years old.
So she's got a lot of life left.
Oh yeah, and she's looking for a house that she can run around and play in because she's a spunky gal.
But no other dogs.
But no other pups.
Speaking of dogs.
Yep, October is Adopt a Dog Month, and so from now running through Sunday, we are celebrating, and we want to help you find your Fido. We're reducing adoption fees for certain dogs that have had longer stays at the shelter. We're doing half-price microchips, and we're doing a bunch of great giveaways, including dog training classes.
All right, and last week?
Oh my gosh, we had that sweet girl, and she did get adopted last week.
Oh, good. Bailey, was it, or no?
Oh my gosh, now I'm completely blanking.
Well, she's got a good home. Don't worry about it.
All right. We had over 75 cats go home last week.
All right, go to the website, giveshelter.org. Let's find Opal a home. And Dave has one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, it's chilly this afternoon, to say the least. Highs only in the mid-40s, partly sunny, windy, and much cooler. Your forecast first. By the time we get to tomorrow morning, temperatures will dip below freezing for the first time since the middle of April in Madison.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.